Well, I got no winter, so I'm just gonna swing my tail.
I officially had the worst luck with furries on social media. It seems like every attempt I've made to gain traction as an artist and fursuit maker has only blown up in my face. From Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, DeviantArt, Fur Affinity, and others, I faced a almost constant stream of negativity, transphobia, and other assorted bigotry and disgusting behavior. This all despite my advancing skill and experience with different styles, materials, and applications. Despite my stubborn refusal to cut corners even at the cost of my time and sometimes my health. And despite the still accurate fact that I've never scammed anyone. For over 10 years I've been quietly providing quality service at a competitive price point. Unfortunately, it seems that none of these truths can stand up to the toxic power game structure of the furry community, on any platform with a sizable number. In a similar vein to the Facebook video from before, I'm going to go through those things that keep me from using social media for doing business. If you haven't watched that video, I think it's pretty important to watch that video because, one, you'll get to see me 2.0 and all its wide-eyed horror. If you haven't seen that video yet, it's going to be in the description. So, what went wrong? Why did this happen again? The answer has less to do with my story, and it's more about the culture of how the furry fandom actually operates. Facebook, and now Instagram, sure seems like the militant ice beast hunt is still going strong, even after all this time. What happened in Facebook in 2017 that shouldn't have happened in the first place kind of doomed me from the start. Basically, a popular fursuit maker actively chose to spearhead their untrue rumor about a life-saving surgery I underwent in 2017 into a full-fledged smear campaign. Without any context, this person shared my post thanking my friends and followers for their support. Then they refused to step in and say something when their followers began to speculate, and then the talk became dangerous. By the time I came home from my mom's house 2 days after the surgery, it was too late. Death threats came piling in, and a lot of people who already bought into the lie just started sending those death threats to my new Instagram account. Suddenly, somehow, I was a scammer. For a while, though, things seemed to be going well, and I passed the 1,000 and 2,000 follower mark way quicker than I thought I would. My reach even started helping some personal problems and even ended a toxic relationship I was struggling with. In 2019, things were okay, but like the other attempts, I began facing problems. My posts weren't doing as well. Suddenly, I wasn't getting as many shares or people interested, but I was getting my name dragged through the mud. The algorithm also decided to kick me while I was down, and by mid-2020 I became less active. The resulting downturn in commissions from this person's reckless decision endured. By September, COVID forced me to move, delaying my work and drawing even more ire and venom from people who hadn't even paid me a cent. People would continually make new accounts to harass and spread false information in an attempt to get me to pay for my supposed wrongdoing I was engaging in by taking commissions at all. I gotta give it to you, furries. You're really determined to wipe me out, aren't ya? Just gonna try to take away any avenue I can to make money, honestly. I get it. See, Instagram was supposed to be for me to take commissions. And maybe post a meme now and then. You know, I shouldn't be fighting off doxing attempts by shutting down my profile. I shouldn't have had to start new accounts just to stop the death threats. I shouldn't be getting messages from these same people over and over again who have a clout-chasing addiction. Come on. I should not be worrying about posting my art on the internet. Now, because of the continuing abuse I face because of the furry community's willingness to subscribe to zealot thinking, my PTSD has been aggravated. I have been afraid to leave my house. I've been afraid to post anything online. I have given up so much. And I've lost about everything when I didn't really have a whole lot to begin with. with the biggest making the rules regardless of the consequences, the fandom operates by who's telling the story. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. There are actual real-life consequences when you choose to blatantly and systematically destroy someone's life because someone you look up to or some popular artist or fursuit maker told you it was a good idea. My story is not unique. It seems like furries have a major attitude problem, one stemming from the fact that some see themselves as genuinely better than others. Usually this is because of their cartoon character, owning 14 suits by different artists of the same cartoon character, or even because they cause drama wherever they go. These are the same people that will tell you that all these posts about the negative things that shouldn't be happening in the furry fandom are just drama mongering. When negative things happen in a community, the line needs to be drawn somewhere. I don't care who you are, who made your fursuit, how much money you make, or how inflated your ego is by your rabid fan base waiting in line to kiss your ass and be your white knighting yes men. There are things that are unacceptable. No exceptions. You're not better than anyone just because you're bigger. You're hurting people. This isn't a game. When your actions put someone's life in danger and affects that person's livelihood, you've gone too far. Once you're telling people that you'd be happy if they died, you've crossed the line. The furry fandom is not a place of love and acceptance for everyone. There are all kinds of incidents I could go through showing why the sunny outlook is more partly cloudy on a good day. The fandom didn't actually start like this. So what happened? The furry fandom actually grew from a small offshoot of the sci-fi community in the mid-1980s to having cons so big they gotta have fursuit parades outside. I've talked to a few older furries, yes, older than me, ha ha, and they seem to agree that the fandom really started changing sometime in the mid-2000s. Now, this was when the internet became more accessible and how a lot of people first joined. The problem began when fursuits, especially in art, were becoming more of a commodity and less art. The furry fandom of the 1980s, with its quirky costumes, funny animal puppet shows, was no more. Basically, as the fandom got bigger, it got younger, and a lot of things were now something to be tucked away or cringe. Now that fursuits were a status symbol, they were seen as a way to get popular, and everyone wanted one. Even people who didn't know anything about the fandom became enamored with these creations. Many people's only experience with this extremely detailed costume work was at Disneyland, Disney World, another theme park, some character pizza arcade type restaurant, or maybe even just a movie. Fursuits changed the furry fandom, for better or worse. This was the catalyst that turned a bunch of nerds in the basement watching cartoons together into a deeply divided, infighting, and vitriolic collective within just 20 years. Where before fursuits were very few, by the mid-2000s, many popular makers' works became so sought after that it had major repercussions. People were acting badly more often. Stealing money, lying, cheating. There's no quality control when groups like this exist. There were just more furries to begin with, too. Now the fandom started to care a lot more about its image. The weird, quirky vibe that characterized the then funny animal fandom was replaced by the story. One run by whoever was bigger, and whoever is bigger is obviously better. This is what I mean by the story. Bad guys that can do no good, the good guys who can do no wrong. I mentioned Disneyland again because some of us bad guys gotta live in the real world. There are really two fandoms, the one that gets to live in the fantasy land if it so chooses, and the one that actually reflects its true nature and method of acting. I've met a lot of people in the fandom that have a hard time dealing with reality for one reason or another. Some deal with that by creating problems on purpose. Because these people don't learn from their mistakes, they're never put into positions where they're forced to deal with their actions and grow. They're the first to complain about stirring the pot the second a legit issue comes along. Because you're not just attacking the thing they like. Oh no, you are hurting them to the core as a person. Now some people will use this as an excuse to attack, even if they wouldn't otherwise, because then you might get thrown under the bus too, right? Now these are the same people that spread those rumors without at least doing a little looking into it on their own. They let whoever they think is the biggest and best who writes that story to do that for them. This divide is actually kind of responsible for a lot of the issues the fandom faces. Things like abuse can often just be pushed under the rug to a certain degree if a person has enough reach. This is why the fandom also has a reputation of being a place where people can be free to express they engage in illegal behavior. Despite this being rare, it's why bewares on some very dangerous people can take years to surface if they're popular enough. It's why years of hard work are unfairly destroyed overnight, even if a rumor's been debunked. A lot of people don't have fun in the furry fandom. Some, like me, refuse to call themselves a part. The fandom's rotten attitude is one reason why furries continue to face derision from the wider world, and it's why the fandom is honestly kind of in trouble. This obviously has gotten a lot deeper than just some photo-sharing TikTok wannabe website. I actually have some solutions to this problem. They might not be to your liking, but I think they're pretty neat. 1. Give these people just trying to break even a chance. Seriously, a lot of us feel really unwelcome and intimidated by how things are handled and how people act. When people share their life with you and they're vulnerable, give them the benefit of the doubt at first. I was going through a really screwed up time in 2017 after the insurance company said I still needed to pay surgeon's fees and pre-registration at the hospital. Now somebody suggested I make a GoFundMe for the fee of $400. It should not have cost me my reputation just because somebody wanted to use me as a scapegoat because they chose to make bad decisions and they couldn't handle them. When what someone says has the power to ruin someone else's life, there really ought to be a line. Unfortunately, accolades and popularity has made this a crapshoot at best. This is why I want to stress pretty plainly, not all furries who happen to be popular are bad. Please, use some judgment and really think about your situation. When someone stole a fursuit to sell before they finished their trade with me a couple years ago, I was pissed. This idiot was trying to make me miserable, obviously. I got 9 frantic messages when I got up that morning, and do I look like a morning person? And this person basically just used me and didn't care, but I used my better judgment. And I reminded people that a fursuit is not worth ruining somebody's life over. I was angry at the situation more than I was angry at this person. And I even got the suit back because I stopped ruining people's lives that didn't deserve it. I stopped ruining people's lives who didn't deserve it. So can you. Give them that 2 minutes that you should have given me. I want to let you know that people are afraid to exist in the furry community for fear of facing backlash because of how hateful your community has become. They're losing their patience because they feel like people don't even care what happens to them. That's why being deplatformed can be so devastating and can open you up to a lot worse. The really sad part is, y'all are so much better than this. Despite all the pain that the fandom has caused me and what it's taken away, I still don't hate furries. Hell, I don't even hate the person who initiated this, and I've got no ill will towards them. Was what they chose to do reckless and irresponsible? Am I angry? Sure, I've got a right to be. Despite all the backlash I've gotten, I still seem to have some people in my corner that will listen. Even through all the lies and controversy, there is so much love out there for me still, and that's why this video is for y'all. For everyone else, you have the capability to do great things. I have seen the fandom do so much good. But when you bully a disabled person who was already vulnerable and struggling, trying to get them as close to the edge as you could without pushing them off yourselves, you're diminishing that. You're leaving the people who want to do all this good behind, and you're cheapening everything positive they try to do. Furries, you lost your way. And you're destroying your own fandom in the process with your destructive behavior.
You shouldn't be asking who we are. You should ask who we were. We were the fat kid. We were the brainy kid. We were the bookish kid. We were the kid with the big, thick glasses. We were the kid concerned about his sexual identity. We were the kid who couldn't throw a baseball. We were the kid who, for whatever reason, all the other kids said, you don't belong with us. Now, human beings, as social animals, crave companionship. And denying companionship by our peers, we sought it out the next best place we could find it. Some of us looked to the stars, others to the far past of human history. We looked to the happy, smiling, accepting faces that we saw on the Saturday morning cartoons. Now, to answer your question, who are we? We are adults who never forgot our old friends.